Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Pulse. Now, you might be wondering, where is Derek Smith? He's listed on the thumbnail as one of the hosts, but I don't see him. Myth. And you know what? I'm wondering the same thing. Let's give him a call together. What's happening, Derek? 6 o'clock. Phone is ringing. I'm all alone. Just got back from a trip to Turkey. Can't wait to hang out with my friend Derek. How cool. I get to do a podcast with Derek Smith, I thought. What are we looking at? 6:06. Pick up the phone, Derek. I don't know if you guys can hear the ring. I have it on speaker. Come on, Derek. We're all waiting for you. What's up, 44%? At least you're here with me. Sean, good to see you. Constipated Devin, hope you get that figured out. I heard raisins help. JW Buckley, what's going on? iFly, how are you? Tall Paul, what's happening, man? Derek Smith did not answer your phone call. You know what? The show must go on. Mark, I'm wondering the same thing. Where's the big man? Nap time, maybe? You know what? We don't need him. We don't need him. It is now The Pulse, hosted by Ryan Turner, sometimes Derek Smith. But we like you better anyway. Damn right. You know what? This is a good thing. This is a good thing. Derek's not here. Finally. Yeah, but in all seriousness, the dude works like crazy hours, like late and stuff. So it's almost certain that he's napping. So I won't hold it against him. But we'll see if he shows up. I've called him a couple times now. But we got a show to do. What's going on? How about that air mace? Oh, my goodness. Oh, we have so much to talk about. What a week. What a freaking week. What an event. So for those who may not know, I was over there for the whole week, getting some behind-the-scenes footage, some athlete interviews, doing some live streams for East vs. West. And frankly, I'm tapped out of arm wrestling. I'm tired of it. So today's show, we're going to talk about cricket. Is India going to be able to defeat Pakistan? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Is India going to be able to do it? Or is Pakistan just too much when they throw the ball? Will they be able to hit it with that stick? Someone can let me know what the stick is called. A bat? A cricket bat? I don't know. But I think we're all full on arm wrestling. So this is the cricket podcast this week. No, it's not. We're doing the Pulse. And for those of you who are new, this is the arm wrestling subreddit. What is a subreddit? It's a page on Reddit that is specific. Go ask Pradeep. Yeah, someone get Pradeep in here. This is a cricket show. The Reddit page is basically like a forum for arm wrestling. You make posts, you can upvote them like this, or if you hate the post, you can downvote it like that. We're going to look at some of the most upvoted posts and then some questions from beginners. And we'll see if Derek shows up. Normally, Derek Smith joins me on these, but you know what? Last week, he did it without me because I was on the road to Istanbul and he was with Artem. How did that show go? Did Artem do a good job? Am I replaced by Artem? Is Derek and Artem doing a podcast right now? And I just didn't get the memo that I've been replaced? Might be the case. But anyway, let's get into it, guys. Oh, my goodness. Who's here? Lagia, what's up, dude? Mark, what's going on? We got a lot to do. Is that Derek? Nope, not Derek. All right, the first post we are going to look at, the most upvoted posts from the last week. Nick Stone in the building. What's up, Nick Stone? Got a big match with Austin Jaggers coming up at the Shaw Classic, the strongman event put on by Brian Shaw. Good to see you, Nick. Did you guys see this? Wagner goes apeshit and destroys the table. It's the most Wagner shit I've ever seen. Well, I didn't hear the commentary because I was in the audience. What did Travis say?
What can I tell you? Security. We have a problem. Please report to the main stage. The earthquake literally has just smacked.
Security. Wagner is wild. I don't know if you guys saw the press conference, but Wagner lost his mind. He was like smacking himself in the face. You know how he does. But also Wagner looks so fucking big. Excuse my language. This dude is like stage ready for a bodybuilding show. And look at this shoulder separation. I know that's not what this show is about, but this is a special episode. We're talking cricket. We're talking bodybuilding. Engen at the press conference. I hope you don't shake the table too hard. Wagner understood. That was Wagner not shaking it too hard. That is the lightest Wagner can shake a table. So he was actually very polite and only broke it a little bit. So that was the most upvoted post from the week. We'll move on to the next post. Zauer challenges Devin Larratt. So Zauer made a post saying, I heard you can't find an opponent. Gennady is injured, and you called Denis Zeplankov for an arm fight, although he is not ready. On vacation, I call you for an arm fight. This dude just wants a match. He was ready to step in for Jerry if Jerry couldn't make it. We need to get this man on the table. He is anxious. He wants to pull. So, yeah, it doesn't look like that's going to be happening, right? It's going to be Devin versus either Hermes or Jerry. And a lot of people think it's going to be Hermes because he won, but may not necessarily be the case because Devin didn't say it has to be the winner, I don't think. He just wants one of them. So it could be a Devin versus Jerry kind of situation, two of the best from North America. All right, moving on here. Jerry Cadorette's thoughts after the match. I don't know if you guys saw this. He wrote, well, it was not the showing that I wanted. And with all the advertisers that I had to, with all the adversities that I had to overcome, I knew it would be super difficult. Getting pneumonia last week was the icing on the cake. My weight dropped from 332 down to 305, and I was able to get it up to 310 for the meet. He calls these things meets, but I guess why not? Sucks all around. Sorry I let my family, fans, and friends down. I knew I shouldn't have went, but I didn't want to screw up the event. Engen worked super hard to put together an amazing lineup. Hermes was on point 100%, and he was super strong and fast. Hats off to him and his preparation for the event. Sorry to Hermes as well that I was not in the proper condition to give him the match he trained for. We don't ever lose. We only learn from the mistakes we make. Sorry to lose the title to Hermes. Sucks. But I look at it as a temporary loan. I will go back home and get healthy, train harder, and then take back the world title. Until then, I will ensure I train relentless and become stronger and faster. So I warmed up Jerry in the side room where they have a table getting ready for Hermes. And I've been pulling with Jerry for, I don't know, 4 years every now and then. So it was the strongest I've ever felt. So I'm pulling, and he's like, give me everything you got. And I was like, what? This is a warm-up. He's like, give me everything. So I sent it on him. And then he just like, wham, goes side pressure straight to the pad. It was the strongest I've ever felt Jerry in my life. And then Paul Lynn goes on, and Paul's working him too. The problem is that Jerry never got a chance to actually apply his strength there. Hermes pulled extremely smart and didn't let Jerry get into any kind of spot where he could activate how strong he really is. So kudos to Hermes. Pulled extremely smart, clearly looked at all the tape. But to people who think Jerry is like washed up or overrated, he's definitely not washed up or overrated. He is the strongest I've ever felt him. So if you were impressed by Jerry versus Gennady or Jerry versus Georgie, he's still the same Jerry. I got you that. 44% saying, yeah, he didn't give Jerry a chance. Exactly. And nor should he. That's how you should pull Jerry. Do not give that man any chance. Lagia saying, I think Jerry will recollect himself a bit after this. If Hermes isn't ready, Zauer may need to step in. Yeah, we'll see. Hermes talked about hurting his left, his right, look like brachialis area. We don't really know. J-Dub saying, was he really sick? I believe so. He was periodically coughing throughout just hanging out around the hotel. And a few of my buddies back home talked to him like the past week, and he was sick. So he really was sick. His flight really did get canceled. You can look up his original flight. The flight got canceled. So it sounds like a bunch of excuses, but I mean, all this stuff did in fact happen. He did lose his passport. His flight actually got canceled, and he was sick. So, excuse or not, these things did happen. It just sucks. All right, let's move on here. So, what did I just see? Yeah, Jerry flexing the abs. He is not a sloppy 300-pound dude. I mean, there is some clear ab definition there. This photo is ridiculous. Jerry just staring at Aramis with his shirt up. Whoa, what even is arm wrestling? I don't know anymore. All right, user Mr. Daulu, he made a post titled "Walking the Groceries Home," and this is the correct way to carry your groceries. All these little things, they call it greasing the groove, which is a real kind of philosophy in strength training. It's that throughout the day, like, just do something hard for a rep or two and move on. The example that I read was, if you're trying to get, your lats stronger and you're walking down the street and, there's a tree branch, jump on it and just do a couple pull-ups and then just keep walking along. They call it greasing the groove. Oh no, look who's calling. Look who's calling. Okay, let's go. Hello, Derek. You're live on YouTube.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi.
Ryan?
What's up, dude? How are you? Anything you want to talk about in particular?
Nothing. I just missed your face so much.
Oh, did you? Well, I have great news for you, man. You can hang out with me right now on a live stream. Where are you?
I'm getting on my computer.
Oh, you're home. Okay, I was worried you're gonna be like, I'm in, I don't know, LA or something. Okay, so you're coming.
Yes.
Hold on. All right, guys, let's do a poll. Do we even want Derek anymore, or should he just stay asleep? You were napping, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We figured you were working hard and took a sleep. All right, man. I'll keep an eye out for you in StreamYard, and then you can pop in.
Okay.
All right. See you in a sec. He's coming. Do we even want him? Should we even let Derek back in? I'm doing a poll. All right. Should we let Derek back in? He had his chance. We've moved on. He's changed. All right, chat. Poll is up. Do we give Derek another chance? He's hurt us once. Has our heart recovered enough to give him one more chance? I don't know if I can take it. It's split right down the middle between he had his chance, we've moved on, and he's changed and is better now. Wow, what a forgiving chat we have. All right, once he gets on, we'll let him back in. We'll let the poor guy in. Everyone deserves a second chance. And Derek's no. Our wrestling showcase says, stay asleep. Yeah. All right. We'll let him back in. But anyways, like I was saying, yeah, grease the groove. So this is like a funny meme post, but there's actually like some real training philosophy behind it. When you see weird stuff that you can do a pull-up on, or a row, or pronation, seriously do it. If you're carrying heavy groceries, do a couple of reps. It actually helps quite a bit for building strength. Damn, this guy looks seriously tired. I hope no other BS happens throughout the tournament. Big thanks to him for organizing these tournaments. This is a post by user ThisWorldliness633. Engen works so freaking hard at these events and does not sleep. It's like he's constantly running around, because these events, you got to think, there's like 22 arm wrestlers all over the place. Everyone has problems. People are coming into the airport. Their flights are delayed. They are lost. They went to the wrong hotel. There's so much chaos, and it kind of all comes down to Engen being the engine behind all of this. I mean, he has help. Anna Gronland is critical. I help wherever I can, but dude, this poor dude on East vs. West week, it's crazy. Like, if he were to stub his toe, I think he would actually combust. into flames. So you got to respect Engen. It's easy to take these things for granted. Like, yeah, East versus West happens, whatever. It doesn't just happen. It's this dude's blood, sweat, and tears putting it in. So, yeah, I'm glad you guys made this post because he works hard. Oh, what do we got here?
Oh, yo, what's up, YouTube? What's up, Ryan? What's going on, guys? I suck. I'm sorry. I'm here.
Let's see. Should we let Derek back in? 57% say he's changed and is better now. 42% said he had his chance. We've moved on. Derek, you're safe. You're safe.
Wait, 47? You say 47% voted against me?
42%. You're good.
42%.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
I'm going to remember that, chat.
You hurt our feelings, Derek. You broke our hearts. It's going to take some time for this to feel natural again, but it's okay. You're here.
Yeah, I'm training so hard for the match, you know. My body's tore down. I need to sleep, you know. I was passed out. Oh. That was me.
You earned it. How is your training going, dude? It's getting close, dude. We only have a few weeks left.
You see these things, Ryan?
Oh, whoa. Dude, you have lost weight. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that's right. Just swole patrol out here.
I mean, like, jokes aside, you really have, dude. Your shoulder and popping out. Damn.
I'm going to do the show.
Hold on, keep going. Look at this. Look at it. You're going to tell that dude he can't come into our live stream, dude? You can. Oh, man. Oh, it's good to have you back, dude. It's good to be back. What a freaking week. Oh.
Well, where were you at? I didn't mean to interrupt.
We were just going through, man. We were looking at this post right here by Mr. Duolu, and we're talking about greasing the groove, how it's actually good to do these kind of things throughout the day, a couple reps here and there of whatnot. Then we were talking about how hard Engen goes on East versus West week, which I'm sure you've seen. The poor dude absolutely gives his heart to these events.
I agree.
So, yeah, we're going over the popular post now. We haven't got into the nitty gritty yet, but next post, Jerry. What is wrong with the arm wrestling community? If you have these kinds of video or photo editing skills, can't you do something productive? Instead, you're making Jerry Cadorette into a cigarette. Somebody sat down at their computer, cleared their schedule, and was like, all right, I'm going to make, you know what I mean? Like an actual human being sat there and made this.
It's, yeah. There were a lot of jokes. The Jerry cigarette joke. It's, all right, but I guess that's
there it is. There it is. Don't underestimate Jerry. His triceps are insane, writes user Admiral Change. And dude, he's got some of the craziest arms in arm wrestling. I swear to God, dude, it's nuts. Did you see the video? We actually measured his arms, and they are bigger than Hermes by 0.5 centimeter.
Right.
But it's like, look at it pop out the freaking tricep there.
Didn't matter on Saturday.
No, it did not. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that. Hermes pulled so smart because Jerry was freaking strong, dude. Like I have a pretty good read of where this dude's at most of the time, and I was warming up with him in the side room. He was telling me to go as hard as I can, just to warm him up, and then he would just go whap and just send it, dude. So it's a shame he never really got to access it, but yeah, kudos to Hermes. He pulled that exactly how he should. And the problem with now is that everybody's going to be studying that tape on how to shut down Jerry. So he's going to have a tough time going forward.
Right. Yeah, I already submitted my request for a Jerry match.
Get in line, dude. I'm sure a lot of people are saying that. All right, Couch Apple made a post. His takeaways from East versus West 8. Let's see if we agree with these takeaways, Derek. First takeaway, Hristo needs to go back to reffing as that is his true calling. Yeah, he actually has a really a winning record on Mindaugas. If you go back, I was talking to him about it. He's like, yeah, I beat him the last time we met. And then the time before that, there was like some BS. But the dude is first and foremost an arm wrestler and is also a ref.
Yeah, but when he's at a super high caliber as an arm wrestler, but because he doesn't beat Mindaugas, then he needs to go back to reffing. He needs to go stupid.
Right. It's like saying Jerry needs to go back to selling campers because he lost.
Jerry, no future. Lost our back selling cars.
I mean, there are actual people like unironically saying that you lose one match and you're done. You give it up.
Right.
Elizabeth's hand and wrist are not strong enough. The beautiful Swede was dominating. What do you think about that point?
I do agree their hand and wrists were behind. I think just experience in general was the bigger thing at play. The slip of her trying to get away was not the prettiest. That ended up being the final round. I think Elizabeth just needs more experience. From what I hear in the United States where she competes, she's like heads and tails above everybody and all the women around her. So there's nobody for her to really practice with at her level. So she just needs a lot more experience, I think.
Yeah, for those who don't know, she is not even 2 years into the sport. She'll be 2 years in September. So just if you're an arm wrestler, imagine where you were less than 2 years in. And here she is at the East vs. West stage, which is an accomplishment on its own. So give her a little more time and she's going to be a problem. Number 3, Travis, always skeptical and witty with his one-liner, quote, "The terrible tattoos his brother probably did for him in high school." I didn't hear any of the commentary because I was in the auditorium doing the live stream. What is this talking about?
I'm not sure. I didn't hear him say that either. I think he has said that before. Maybe he did say it, but I turned down a lot of the commentary because I was sitting there. I was in Discord when I was watching it.
Gotcha.
So we were chopping it up.
Yeah. Let us know. Do you guys like Travis? I didn't hear anything. Was it a good combo? Obviously not as good as Derek, but how was the commentary in general? I haven't really heard anything about that. It was Neil and Travis mostly, or did Coach Ray get in there? I'm not even sure. Next up we have Tom's win was fair and square, but doesn't change the fact that Hristo judgment has been compromised. Damn, Hristo's really getting it, dude. Couch, what do you have against that man?
Yeah.
Tom's looks good. Latvian power, man.
I'm surprised. Not that because I don't know much about Tom, so I can't be that surprised about that. But I mean, like when I think of high level lightweights from the United States that I think can go overseas and do well, Justin Bishop is always in my head. Right, he's always someone in my mind that like super strong hand and wrist, all these things. So like Justin losing was a shocker to me, especially after round 1 where like kind of in an ugly spot, Justin got him in a hook and pulled through him, and Justin doesn't even hook really. He's an outside puller. So I was like, oh okay, he has this in the bag. And then after that, Tom went to work. So it's just a little shocking to me, I guess.
Fair. Next up, he says Aussie horsepower. Lachlan's technique was way better. He stayed forward with that hook instead of back pressure. Lachlan really has leveled up. He was my roommate for the week, so we were talking a bunch, and he's taking this super freaking serious. Looks ridiculously strong, even in the after pull footage. So we're going to see him back. He wants Oleg. Do you think that'd be a good match, Derek?
Oh, wait, Oleg.
Petrenko.
Okay. Oh, man.
Ooh.
Yeah, that could be good. You said left-handed?
I think either. Honestly, I think he wants both. But
good.
They both got a win, so I mean, why not? Opperman got hit hard by the Croatian radiation, Reno Masic.
Yeah, Reno looked real. He that kid. Kid. He's like 18. He's strong.
Yeah.
He looks bigger. He looks a lot bigger on camera than I thought he was.
Yeah, he's taller too. I didn't know he was that big, but I don't know what they're feeding those people over in Croatia. I guess we don't have to go through all these. It'll take the whole show, but thank you for that post. Next up, we have user Anonymous JX with a meme writing, actually, you need a lot of technique. You should pronate while supinating in a king's move when blah, 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 blah. And then you have the Giga Chad saying, just go sideways really effing hard. Is there any truth to that, Derek?
There's truth to an extent on both of them. Yeah. Like there's big basic, like basic fundamentals, and then there's like small nuances, small things you can do, adjustments. So I don't know. Like not everybody just goes sideways really hard, but Todd Hutchings but like the way he goes sideways, where he plants his elbow, how he trains that, it's not just basic go sideways, right? The directions ends up going sideways, but the way if I told somebody else just to do it, new guy just go sideways really hard, they're gonna break their arm in half, right? And so like it's not that simple. So I don't know.
JW saying I practice with both of these guys. Yeah, I mean there is some truth to it. I think this is taken to the extreme. A lot of people kind of over intellectualize things, and they're so focused on the minutia of arm wrestling when like just get stronger, and that's kind of the gist of it there. Never piss off a Turkish. I found this freaking hysterical. Yeah, Jerry's flight issues. I was telling people, you can look up Jerry's flight. It did actually get canceled. He did actually have pneumonia. All of these so-called excuses, maybe they are excuses, but they did happen. So keep that in mind. I'm trying to find some non-Devin Hermes stuff here. Yeah, the East vs. West week, the Reddit gets filled up with posts naturally about these kinds of things. Larry Wheels is hospitalized. Have you talked to him, Derek? He got rhabdomyolysis. Oh, he got the rhabdo, which is from overtraining, right? That's kind of the idea.
I haven't talked to Adam about it. Adam came to my practice, not this Sunday, but the one Sunday before. But he came by himself, but I haven't talked to him since then about it. But I've had like 7 people hit me up and say, what's going on, Larry? And then me in the hospital. At the gym, too. Random people walking up to me like, hey, so where's Larry? What's going on with him? And I'm like, huh? Like, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. But I saw the post, about him having rhabdo and stuff, which sucks. So, but hopefully he's doing all right.
Yeah, poor dude. I guess those can vary quite a bit in how serious it is. But hopefully he's doing all right. All right, let's see if we can find another one here.
Hey, did you in the chat right now? Someone brought it up. I don't know if you talked about it before I got in here. Did you talk about RVJ's video yet?
No, we haven't. You want to talk about that?
What'd you think about it?
RVJ's latest video is wild. I mean, it's an RVJ video, so everything is wow, like extreme. This is insane. So you have to put it through the RVJ filter first and really get down to like what is his actual point here. The manufactured drama. I was trying to figure out what specifically he was talking about there. Like, was it Mendaugas? Because the drama between Hermes and Jerry, that was not manufactured at all. Hermes was super pissed. That video he made calling Jerry a poozy and all these things, everyone was like losing their mind during the whole Jerry thing. We were running around like chickens with our heads cut off trying to find replacements. Like, what happens? None of that was manufactured. So someone in the comments was like, all you have to do, you got to look at WWE. Everyone knows the wrestling is fake, but the drama sells out massive arenas. So whether or not you like the drama, you hate it, like it does sell pay-per-views. And at the end of the day, these events are getting so freaking expensive, like big money. We don't have to go into the details, but it is a lot of freaking money to put on just one East vs. West event. And now if you're doing 4 or 5 a year, you can do the math here. Pay-per-views need to get sold. So if a little drama helps that, I don't see it as too bad. Is there a line? Of course there is. Did anybody cross the line? I don't think so at East vs. West 8. But maybe I'm missing something. Just now I'm thinking, is he talking about Devin and Saplenkov? Like, is that what he's going at? I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's kind of all of the above. But probably the more popular one at that moment was Hermes and Jerry. But it's just like, I don't think that. I think the stuff is embellished a little bit, but like you said, I think the drama or whatever there was real. But normally there wouldn't be cameras in everybody's face. It would just be like, oh, that sucks, and maybe Hermes tells a couple of his homeboys about it, that he's pissed, and then Jerry ends up showing up. It's not a big deal. No one, you hear about it 4 years later in some random story. It's not a big deal. But because there's, we're shoving cameras in people's faces, we're making a bigger deal about things that aren't that massive to try to sell more tickets. Yeah, it makes sense. right? Like and to get Hermes to make that video when maybe before he wouldn't have, but now if he does, it brings more eyes and stuff and more clicks. So it makes sense, and people care about it. People want to know, the drama and what's going on and get involved with the event, right? I mean, if people are sitting through the what's it called right there, the press conference, like it shows they're involved with, besides arm wrestling, they're invested in the sport and what people have to say and the opinions of the arm wrestlers and to build the character. A lot of people think that building characters in arm wrestling is the way to grow the sport, is like the way to grow the sport. They think that making it so you sympathize and you have your favorite athlete, everything about them, where they're from, their background, and their history with arm wrestling and like everything about them, then you'll be more invested in the characters, so you'll be more invested in the sport. I've had a lot of people say that, and so this is just people getting more invested in. I don't know, but RBJ was definitely pissed.
Yeah,
and he plays the steroids too. Steroids.
Yeah,
and,
there's that angle too. Before we get there, one point I'll make is arm wrestling has a bit of an issue in that the arm wrestling itself is not the most entertaining thing to watch for most people. And, it's two people arm wrestling. They don't know what a top roll is. They don't know what a hook is. They can see this at their local bar. They can do it themselves. Like if you're watching tennis, like it's very clear what's going on here. It's entertaining for people. MMA is super entertaining. Arm wrestling, if you just ask your random person, they might be like, oh, it's kind of cool. It's kind of kitschy, but whatever. They're not going to be super entertained by two people arm wrestling. So we kind of have to pump the gas a little bit on the story. And again, you have to walk that line between manufactured and legitimate, but we do need to tell stories in arm wrestling in order to reach a more general population who aren't interested in the actual nitty-gritty of arm wrestling. So that was his first point. Second point is that gear is rampant. It's a problem. Hermes doubled in size, and you did like a slow clap for him. Like, yeah, you did a bunch of gear and you beat Jerry. Good for you. So the first reality is at the highest levels, like most, I don't want to paint with a broad brush here, but most strength athletes in any sport are using something they shouldn't. I mean, even in cycling, right? People are using things. I remember they busted some chemist who made like special drugs for Olympians. And he was like, listen, everybody is on something. Even the archers are taking illegal like muscle relaxers so they can shoot better. That's just the reality of the situation. I wish it wasn't. I wish there was a way to test, but I don't know. I mean, I heard him complain about all the steroids, but I don't know what the solution is. Did he offer one? Did I miss it? Like, we can test more, but all that kind of does is allow people who manage to get around the test an even bigger advantage. So, and the Olympics is now doing the untested version of the Olympics, right? Because they're like, listen, we can't keep up, so we might as well just have a version where everyone's on gear. Is that the right way to go? I don't know, but what do you think?
I'm not sure, man. It's such a weird topic that's been, one of the popular topics to discuss in arm wrestling since I've been around. And everybody was talking about gear, not gear, natural, not natural. I think one reason RVJ's opinion doesn't gain a lot of traction is that like it's coming from somebody who has so much to gain if everything was natural and even. Someone born with like the best genetics for arm wrestling, like humanly possible. And so everybody's like, oh yeah, of course you want everybody natural, so then you'd be king shit, like when everybody is put to what they're born with, when you're born with this massive hand and perfect muscle bellies and muscle insertion, and you have all the things, like, yeah, I bet you want it all natural, clean, and even. Like, what I mean? So I feel like if it was somebody else that was like at a big, small hand, someone that has big disadvantages, maybe like the words would carry a little more weight, I guess. But I mean, I totally understand. I mean, in a lot of ways, I wish everything was completely natural and it was easy to test and it was cheap. I'm all about that. And the reason I say I'm all about that is because I know I have a big advantage in a, right. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm long arm, big hand, like, let's run it all natural, but it's not realistic, right? With the amount of money and things, I just don't think it's possible to get it done. So, we do what we can without that just to still be successful. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I think steroids are holding the sport back, per se. I'm not sure. I don't think when I hear people talk about arm wrestling, that's not what I hear them bring up. I hear them bring up they want to break their arm. I hear them bring up, how much money is in this. I want like things like that. But no one's like, oh, they're steroids. That's not something that gets brought up to me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, if they come out with a foolproof test that you can just spit in a little bottle on site and it checks for everything ever made, all for it. That should be standard in every single industry. But the truth is that doesn't exist. And on top of that, like most promotions cannot afford drug testing anyway. So it just is what it is. And we can complain about it all we want, but it's not going to change anytime soon. And it's not even a problem specific to arm wrestling. Much bigger sports cannot handle this problem. So like I hear you, RVJ. I'm with you. I wish it wasn't a thing. It is a thing. What can we do about it? Almost nothing. So I mean, we can bark up that tree all we want, but it is what it is. All right, let's move on to some specific questions. The future of USA arm wrestling is a post by the one from Masai. He writes, USA pullers at East versus West 8 took a 5-0 from the Europeans. They lost 5-0 from the Europeans. The East dominating is becoming a trend. And if you recall, at East versus West 7, this is me talking, the West didn't get a single win. So, yeah, he's onto something. They said USA future would have been pullers like Chance and Corey, but they seem not even have the athlete's mentality other than the bodies. Not sure what he means by that. But meanwhile, Europe is producing the kind of Reno, Bacho to dominate even more in the future. So USA has a problem. We cannot seem to get the wins we need. We don't have a up-and-coming crop like Reno or Bacho, these 18-year-old monsters. What do we do, Derek? I know what we do. We send you in, and you put a W on the board for the USA. What do you think about that?
I mean, that's the that's the plan. Dude, the amount of like messages and things I get after we don't get a win over there, like when Americans don't go over there get a win, I'm like, oh no. I mean, that's a whole different amount of pressure. But and it's not just on me. There are good American up and coming pullers. It's just I was just talking about practice about this yesterday. Like, because the sport is viewed more as professional overseas, you'll get, so say you have 100 people that are at a practice in arm wrestling, right? 100 people on this team in Europe. The odds of within those 100 of 60%, 60 of them to 70 of them taking it very serious, like wanting to go far in this, like willing to eat and train and wake up and just do everything correctly is very high. Of your average 100 arm wrestlers in the United States, people that are actually going to be that dedicated and eat, sleep, and train, go to the gym all every day and all those things, is like 20, 15 of those 100. The rest of them are going to go have beers with their boys. They're learning. It's a fun side thing when they're not working 90 hours a week. Like it's a hobby. So like I don't know. It's just where the cream will rise to the top eventually. As the sport grows, instead of us having 100 people to choose from, we'll have 500 to choose from, and it'll be viewed more as a profession. So it'll change. The reality will change over time. But as of right now, I mean, there's guys up and coming. Do we have guys ready right now to go overseas and start cracking people? There's still a few question marks. There's still a few people floating around we haven't seen go over there and do their best. Like, can Luke Kitt go crack some people over there? There's still guys that haven't gotten overseas that I'd like to see how they do. Obviously, besides that, I don't like to think about that too much because this adds more pressure to me than normal. But I want to win. I want to win for me. I want to win for Engen. I want to win for the United States. I want to win for. I want to do all these things. And so, yeah. I mean, try again. At least on my point. But honestly, if I don't win this one, I don't know if I'm going back anytime soon. So, and rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that's why they have the qualifier system now, right? Like, I think it's brilliant because everyone's like, "Oh, let me go." Engen will just tell you, like, go win the qualifier, And so, that on your point there, I also think, and you can tell me if you think this is true or not. In the USA, if you are a strength freak, if you are big and strong and impressive, you're gonna go play football or you're gonna go play basketball. All of our freaks. It's all, I mean, they're going to be put in that pipeline. You're going to do a fifth year in high school at a school that is specifically made to pump out high level collegiate athletes. Then you're going to be put into the college funnel. And the only thing you're thinking of is draft day. Am I going to get drafted into this? I didn't even know about arm wrestling until I was 28 years old in the US. I had never seen an arm wrestling table in my life. So if I was Bacho, like if you take Bacho and put him in the United States, that dude is not an arm wrestler. He just is not. He will probably be like me and never even find the sport unless his dad or someone did it. So that's part of the problem. People are like, oh, the USA is so weak. It's like, no, we just have football and hockey and basketball, and that's where our strong people go. So I don't put any weight into that genetic argument. Also, the USA is such a melting pot. We have genetics from every place in the world. It's not like the USA is USA genetics. I mean, you take a guy from Ghana and then a guy from Scotland all on the same bus at the same time. So, but yeah, practically speaking, we do need an up-and-coming crop, but that is slowly changing. Every club is growing. Moving on here, we got post by Exact Maybe 4838. Do we need back pressure in a hook? Derek?
Yes. I mean, I know you remember time they bring up back pressure, I always get into the definition of back pressure. But I'm assuming they just mean like sliding your elbow backwards. But anyway, yes. Can you go sideways in a hook? Yeah, of course. But back pressure for most hooks, yes, is a requirement, I think. Opening up, extending your opponent's arm, making your arm tighter is stronger, their arm open is weaker. Yeah. So, yes, to me. To my opinion.
Yeah. Look, back pressure like almost always helps, right? If you're pulling backward, no one wants to be pulled away from their arm. So if you can add that in just about any scenario, it's going to be good. And a lot of people, if you talk to them, they're going to tell you just constantly, just that is the thing you need to be doing the whole time. Just pull them away, make them uncomfortable. So it might be wise to start thinking of back pressure as just standard and then what you can do on top of it. We got a super chat. Tip Altier writing, hey, Ryan and Derek, thanks for all the great stuff from Istanbul, Ryan. Derek, Mehdi Abdulavend is a beast. You got this, buddy. Flex, flex, flex. I think you do, man. I think you're looking ridiculous right now. If you don't, then that dude earned it because you are training hard, man. How are you feeling about it right now? Like in your head, are you ready?
It's just fine tuning. I'm not putting on a lot of YouTube videos right now. One, because I'm doing such small movements. It's kind of really showing what I'm planning to do in the match. I'm really just doing like small increment, like little tiny moves and to dial in like inch strengths. So it's boring too. The average person that sees me moving a weight 2 inches isn't going to be impressed. So it's kind of like not visually stimulating, and I don't want to give out too much. But I'm working hard. I'm in the gym, killing it, and we're going to go there with everything we got. So let's do it. I'm excited.
There you go. Hey, Tip, thank you so much for supporting the channel, man. You've always been there. Really appreciate you. Thanks for the super chat. Next up, we got, let's move on here. What's an underrated skill in arm wrestling? Kind of vague, but thought maybe we could get creative here. What's an underrated skill in arm wrestling? So my answer to this question would be ego management. Ego management. Ryan, what is that? I can't tell you how many dudes I've seen show up to a practice, get smoked by someone 30 pounds lighter than them, get all pissy, get all weird, and then they just disappear. Or they show up to the practice and they just have a bad time because they're so frustrated and they just want to pin people and they can't. The people who have the most success, from my experience, are the ones who love getting their ass whooped in a practice because they're going to immediately be like, okay, what happened there? Then they're going to go home and they're going to get all excited and they're going to go watch some YouTube videos about people who are really good at the thing that they're bad at and then come back the next practice excited to try it and then get their ass whooped again and then continue to grow and change and have fun. If you can have fun getting pinned and pinning, you're going to go far. And I think that's underrated, something people don't talk about a lot. My coach, Josh Grant, says, you can come to practice, but you have to leave your ego at the door. And I think that's pretty good policy. Derek, you think of something?
Okay. Not that I'm amazing at this, but I know that when someone is amazing at this, it can be a game changer, but there's very few people that actually pursue this. Like, I don't know, getting in your opponent's head, like making them psych themselves out or making them forget their game plan or, throwing them completely off. by, I don't know, be it talking crap, the way you look at them, whatever you do, like actually getting them to abandon all plans and abandon logic in a match and stuff like that to try to pin you and to really just kind of psych someone out. I think that can be really successful. I think that if you're good at that and you're good at making people hate you, or you're good at in the moment, like getting them to freak out, like I feel like you can go really far. It sounds like an underhanded tactic, but like dude, there's times where I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? I had a whole game plan for this match and I just forgot everything. Like I just saw red and that was it. And I forgot the whole thing just because the way this guy acted or what he said, things like that. So I think that's actually kind of a funny skill.
Yeah, I can think of one arm wrestler in particular who takes that to its absolute extreme. John Brzenk. No, not John. Devin. Devin is the master. Mr. Grip Strength asked, who has the best physique in arm wrestling? Enough talk about technique and stuff. Let's get vain here.
Besides me.
Who?
Besides us. Besides you and I.
Oh, come on. Obvious. Implied. I would say, dude, this might be my bias coming back from Istanbul, but Wagner Bortolato, Jesus, dude. I seriously think he could go like from the table to an arm wrestling stage and play to a bodybuilding stage in place. His shoulders pop out. It's like freaky and weird being around that dude. But I guess it depends what you consider the best physique. Like you have more lean guys, or is it just like mass monster, like Lupke's type? I don't know. But who comes to mind when you read this question, Derek?
Okay, so I mean, like if we're going like Jack, like bodybuilder style. I don't know, like Mike Aiello or like or Wagner. But I think one of the best the drawing things about arm wrestling is that it's like the little guy can beat the big guy. Right, the unassuming guy can be the best arm wrestler, right? And so, like the when you hear about the GOAT, and then you see a picture of John Brzenk at any point in his career, really, you're like, that was the guy, like that's the man. And so, like I'm best physique. I think it's something like that. I think something like John, obviously showing his a little bit of strength, but someone that you wouldn't think would ever be the top guy. You know what I mean? Someone that like just from a picture, you would be like, no way, like he's not beating a guy that looks like Brian Shaw or something like that. There's no way, and he was. So I think that's like the best physique. That like kind of represents what you can do in the sport, what all the things we learn can do and mean, you know?
That is the best answer I've ever heard. No, you're the only human who hears best physique in arm wrestling and says John Brzenk. But I love that answer. Like if you stood behind that dude, like in a coffee shop, the last thing you would ever think is that is the greatest arm wrestler of all time. You'd be like, no, it's a dad of 4 who drinks beer and watches football. It's like, so yeah, I think that kind of sleeper angle is a really interesting answer. Next up, it's waiting for you. Talk about this. How did this come about, dude? Nick Stone versus Austin Jaggers at the Shaw Classic. You were kind of pivotal in making this happen, right? He tapped you.
Oh yes, somebody behind the scenes is making things happen, Ryan.
Oh my God, people respect the man.
So we had 2 super matches. I don't know. Oh, that reminds me. Okay, so he hasn't announced the second one. He's announced this one though. We have a second.
Oh, did you just screw up?
No, I didn't screw up just now. I just forgot that Brian asked for something from me, and I haven't given it to him in 3 days. So this match, in each of the matches, we kind of wanted someone with a strength background, and so Nick Stone is like a national level power lifter. He won the Arnolds and so big powerlifting background. Who's an amazing powerlifter, turned into an arm wrestler, and he's also legit. I think he's left dominant, or everybody around him sucks lefty, but either way, his left seems to outperform his right. And so Austin Jaggers is also ranked top 5 left-handed. I think he's 5th right now. And I think it's a good match for Nick having the strength background and Austin being a little more polished on the table. But Nick just won. He won the IFA World Championships left-handed, right? Yeah. And anyway, so I just think it's a good matchup. I think Nick has something to prove. He wants to match Austin. I think Austin's exciting, which is another big reason I wanted to pick Austin. I wanted some exciting pullers on the table to put on the show. So yeah, Brian announced these 2, and then we have the other 2 that he's going to announce pretty quick here as soon as I text him back, which was about 2 days ago.
Is this part of like a broader thing? Like this is just a kind of exhibition thing, but like while they're switching events, if I understand, or is this going to be like an Arnold Classic type thing for arm wrestling?
Yeah, no, this is for this one. This is just a trial run with arm wrestling. We're having the one super match on Saturday, one super match on Sunday, best of 5. I got a couple referees flying down there, and it's just going to be. We're setting aside about 45 minutes for it. It'll be on the main stage, right in front of everybody. Right, there's gonna be thousands of people in like Coliseum style seating around this thing. I'll be over there commentating because I'm so good at commentating, even though I'm not on East versus West. But yeah, so. I think it's just a big opportunity to get arm wrestling in front of a strength-minded crowd, and so that's gonna be part of my job is really hyping them, keeping them involved and understanding what's going on the table and really explaining everything. It's the week before East vs. West 9 too, so I literally fly out that weekend, come home for 2 days, and fly out to Turkey.
Oof, that is rough. Do you get the seats with the extra leg room, dude? Because I was crushed on my Turkish Airlines.
That's part of that's a prerequisite for flying me out anywhere. I tell the people, promoters, yeah, okay, I need tickets and I need specific seating, leg extra row or front row.
Yeah, I was thinking about you on the plane, like especially when they lean back, dude, like crush my knees. I'm like, how does Derek handle this?
Yep, I have to.
Yeah, I think about you when I'm out in the world, Derek. Just
Thank
so
you.
you know.
Right? I mean, you show up for the show, but it's whatever. That's why I had to pay you back.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have a training question by user Obumba Obimir. If there were only 3 exercises you could do for arm wrestling, which ones would it be? So 3. We usually get the 1, but if we got 3, let's think here. So I would do arm wrestling headbangers, which I uploaded a short of Ron Klumba doing them. You do a neutral grip pull up, and then you go out and in while you are suspended. Out and in. So you're getting elbow flexion while doing a pull-up. I think that is probably my favorite arm wrestling exercise. Then I would probably do wrist wrench, right? I'd want some cupping in there. You're not really getting wrist flexion when you're doing headbangers. And then the third one, oh man, dude. Some kind of pronating curl or something. I don't know, man. Number 3 is getting me. What about you, Derek? Give me a minute to think.
No, I think that's pretty good. That's pretty close to what I'd say. I don't know if I'm not doing headbangers, bro. I don't know if you see with my 6'8" ass, if I'm sitting there just levitating above the ground at 350 pounds, just opening my that's not happening. But I was just saying neutral grip pull-ups in general. I think neutral grip pull-ups are a fantastic compound movement. Then yeah, I think some kind of wrist flexion. I like rolling handles. Or probably something like Devin's multi-spinner.
Oh, yeah.
So something like that, but it's kind of a high and low. I don't know if that counts as 2 different cupping exercises. And then something that really targets pronation, I guess. It'd either be pronation or some kind of palm-up curl to kind of get a defense ready. If you're only doing this, I like to be comfortable if my palm goes up, not freak out. But yeah, but probably pronation, something with pronation.
Yeah, same answer. All right. So next up, we can probably get one more in here. Do you think it's possible to do decently well in a competition just from weights and 0 table time? My biggest concern would be that the person with more table time will be able to manipulate the setup better, therefore having more chance to win. By the way, I'm talking about a person with advanced numbers in all the arm wrestling movements, but not elite.
This is like such a frustrating question. So like, I don't know how many times we can tell people online that if you want to get into arm wrestling, you need to find a team, you need to find a way to practice. And it's just like, I get so many messages and there's so many guys who just like, no, I'm just going to lift and make it to the top without ever getting on the table. And like, and I understand sometimes people are off in the middle of nowhere, where it is not possible to get any savvy table time. I get that. But a lot of the people are like, oh, it's 45 minutes away. It's an hour away. There's no way I get table time. Like there's times where I'd be driving 2 to 3 hours. I had guys on my team that were there every week and they had to drive 2 to 3 hours a week just to get one way to get to my practice, 2 or 3 hours home every practice. Like if I don't know, man, it's just frustrating because everybody's looking for this secret way to become amazing without getting on the table and learning how to arm wrestle. And like, no, if you want to say, it depends on what your definition of decently well, I guess. Like
True.
For me, right now, decently well would be pro class top 3. Anything below that would be horrible to me, right? But if I'm new and we're talking about amateur class, you know what I mean? So it depends on what your definition of decently well is. And yes, it's possible to get just strong enough where you can do well. But it doesn't matter if your pronation is amazing in the gym. If you don't know how to use it on a table, it doesn't matter. And so, like, yeah, you can have your pronation list be awesome, but that doesn't mean when you grip up with someone, you're going to pronate or you're going to know how to counter the pressures that they're putting into your hand. So, like, the strength gaps would have to be so massive. It'd have to be Devin versus Dennis left-handed. It'd have to be something wildly different. Yeah, come on, you got hand. So, like, the strength gap would be have to be massive for you to just cruise through a tournament without ever being on a table. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're spot on, man. Like, you can think about arm wrestling all you want, you can train it all you want, but until you feel that first ready go, you're just not gonna be prepared, because when they just send everything at you, it's like, I mean, take what other sport can you just do lifts in the gym and be good at? Like, do you think you could be a good wrestler with only, you know, doing things in the gym? A good tennis player, like, yeah, you can train internal rotation all you want, but until you actually hit a tennis ball, you're not going to do too well. And especially in arm wrestling, that was the biggest thing to me. I went to my first practice, 6'3", 250 pounds, really strong bicep curl, all this stuff. But then once someone just drags, pronates, all these things at the same time, riser, it's like, it's shocking. And so I don't think it's possible unless, like Derek said, the gap is so big. Like, if you went into a U12 tournament and you're 30 and 200 pounds, yeah, it's fine. But outside of that, I just think that go is going to hit you, and you're just not going to even know what to expect. So I would say no. Maybe we can get one more in here. This is we got to save this dude, Derek. We have a Redditor that needs saving. He says, need advice. I want to defeat someone way stronger than me, 30 to 40% stronger than him. I have around 1 month to prepare. Please give me advice. Any advice is appreciated. I am willing to put all of my effort into this match because it will very much impact my life. Derek, his freaking life is on the line. Please help. This poor dude is going to die if he does not win this match, Derek. What can we say to him?
Okay, we got 1 month to pass up dude that's basically 50% weaker than a guy, right? So, and we'll just assume in every metric of strength, right? Because he didn't specify. He just said stronger. So in every way to be stronger than someone, this dude is damn near 50% stronger than him. And you have 1 month to surpass this and very much impact his life. So I'm assuming they're killing this dude, right? Yeah. They have a gun to his head. You die if you don't win this, right? Okay, 1 month. What are we doing here? And no info on his opponent, on how he arm wrestles or what is, he's just a guy.
Nope.
So I'm assuming that he's a non-arm wrestler. This super strong guy.
He's locked in some room right now, managed to get access to a phone and just made this post real quick.
That's the one thing he did. He made a post on it.
Exactly, because
I have to arm wrestle my way out of this.
Yeah. That should be a movie, dude. I swear to God.
Yeah, man. Okay. That's such a man. You're really putting the clamps on us here in terms of being able to help you. That time frame, there's no significant amount of strength you can make in a month. It's just not happening. And especially not 30 to 40% gap in a month. I mean, that's so big of a gap that even if I told you little cheapy ways to, expose strength and stuff like that, if he's 40% stronger than you in every metric, then that means his cupping and everything's gonna be that much stronger than yours. Like, I don't know if there's any tricks or anything you can gain in a month, man. You're really not giving us a lot to work with here.
Yeah, I mean, your best bet is that this guy doesn't know a thing about arm wrestling besides go sideways.
Yeah.
So I would probably say YouTube posting top roll, go on Voice of Arm Wrestling for 1 month, just learn how to go backwards and bend his wrist back, because those are two things he probably isn't expecting. Most people don't think that anyone's going to pull them back, and most people don't even think about their wrist going backwards. So maybe, just maybe, you can posting top roll this guy and save your own life and get out of that torture cell that they have you trapped in. But we'll check back on his profile in a month, and if he hasn't posted anything, rest in peace, user Krigata.
I'm sorry we couldn't help you, man. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's a shame. All right. With that said, it's 7 o'clock, 7:05. We went a little over. Quick plug for Derek's merch, the awswitch.com. If you want to support the man, he's got a big match coming up. He's got to fuel that massive frame of his. give him some love. He's got some sweet gear over on the awswitch.com. Is the lady stuff in yet, Derek?
It should be any time. I know she was getting it printed. I don't know if she's put it on the site yet. And then we're also getting more team shirts with my Alpha Empire team. We're going to get those up there as well.
There you go. So check it out. Armwrestles.com if you want to check out some of the handles I make. And next week, we will be going live on Derek's channel at 6 p.m. real time, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Just AW Derek on YouTube. And we will see all you guys there. Any closing words, Derek?
You guys are awesome. I'm sorry I was late. You guys know how I do it. I roll in out of bed. Same thing in my. I'm sorry, guys. My apologies. I'm just excited that you're back, Ryan. Back from Turkey, being abroad. We had to figure it out last week. I had Artem on here. Like it was a rough one, man.
How did that go for real though?
Oh, I couldn't understand a thing he said the whole time.
Poor Artem.
It was great. Artem did great. He was great being on here. He pulls no punches, so he's very blunt with what he says. But yeah, I mean, either him or I was thinking about hitting Chris Drummond or Paul Lynn. Those are three guys. I really want to have Chris Drummond back on here. I think he should be a staple on the show. At least once a month or something like that, or 2 months. I really want to have Chris be a repeat guy on the show. But I mean, we worked our way through it. I think it went well. We had a lot of compliments. A lot of people liked it. So I think it's good. But I don't know. And just don't go anywhere anymore. You're not allowed to leave anymore, Ryan.
Yeah, no. It's good to be back, man. It is a trip, dude. Like 20 hours of travel time just to woof. But hey, we do it for the love of arm wrestling. So thank you all for tuning in. Again, next week, AW Derek's channel on YouTube, 3 p.m. Pacific. We will see you all there. Thanks for tuning in.